Hey everybody, it's Rukosa, the Boob Boss. How y'all doing today? I am so excited about today's broadcast, partly because I got so much pushback about this broadcast. Today we're going to be talking about European versus American formula. What the heck is going on? So I'm sure many of you are aware of, many of you are actually ordering European formula. There's this huge craze in the United States right now where a lot of families are actually importing formula from Europe for their babies, organic European formula. But what the heck is going on? Like, what's up with this European formula? Is it that much better? What's wrong with American formula? Now, I know a lot of you people have been asking, okay, you're on IBCLC, ARNP. Should you really be talking about formula on your platform? Why isn't IBCLC talking about formula? So let's talk about that. In my practice, The Perfect Push, we are a lactation and parenting wellness clinic. We see a lot of high-risk moms. Sometimes I see moms who are delivering and going to have to undergo chemotherapy soon after delivery. I see a lot of moms who may have used IVF and have challenges breastfeeding once baby comes. I see moms for many reasons. And again, there are many reasons why families may choose to give their baby formula. I feel as long as us, their providers, give them the information they need to make an informed decision. Again, this is me saying, there's nothing out there that can ever or will ever replace breast milk. Breast milk is the best thing that we can give to any baby. But sometimes that is not a possibility and it is not a reality for many moms. What I'm over is people shaming moms who are choosing to formula feed their baby for whatever reason, because that's not all right. We need to be able to respect parents' choices for how they're going to feed their families. But most importantly, as providers, we need to be able to give them sound information on how to do that. So that's all I'm going to say on the topic. That is why we're talking about formula today and why I have two guests that are going to be joining me. First, we're going to have Michael Strick all the way from Switzerland. It is super early for him. But hey, Michael, welcome to Bumps, Babies, and Boobs. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good afternoon for you, I would say.
Well, almost nighttime. We're in Seattle, so it's about 7 p.m. now. I'm good, Mike. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Ru. It's a pleasure to be here.
And Mike is the founder of Loulouka. Loulouka is a formula brand based in Switzerland. Our second guest is going to be Cameron D. Cameron D, at least we're on the same time zone. Good evening, Cameron, and welcome to Bumps, Babies, and Boobs.
Good evening, Ru. Good evening, Michael.
Hey, guys.
So good to have you. And Cameron is the founder of Little Moo Organics, based here in Washington, and it is a company that is helping families get easier access to European brands of formula. So Cameron, I'm going to have you just adjust your sound a little bit so we can hear you a little better.
Okay, how's this?
That is better. That's better. Thank you. All right, guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get started. Okay, I've been meaning to do this for a while and I always forget. So, hey, mom. That's my mom. Comment, hey, baby girl. That's my mom. She watches every broadcast. She might be the only person who's watching, but that's my mom. Y'all. Hey, mom.
Hey, Florence. Welcome.
All right, guys. So let's get started. Tell me, why do you think American families are choosing organic European formula? What's going on?
Well, that's a great question, Ru. First and foremost, the ingredients, there's just simply no comparison. The organic standards, far superior. In fact, what got us in the business was when our son, he was born, my wife breastfed him for the first 6 months of his life. And then like many parents, she had to go back to work full time and just could not keep up with pumping. And so we were scrambling, trying to find a suitable formula that would work for him. And at the time we were completely naive to the European formulas. We were trying everything under the sun, from Similac to Enfamil, all the organic brands, Earth's Best, and nothing seemed to be a good fit for him. He was experiencing all the classic symptoms. He was colicky, had excessive acid reflux. At one point in time, the doctor even tried to convince us to give him medication for that. And we're like, wait a minute. he's a 6-month-old baby. He shouldn't be taking the equivalent of Prilosec or Tums. We need to figure out what's causing this. So my wife, Louise, who is really the brains and the original founder behind the business, Louise, she gets all the credit here, but she went online, did her homework, did her
Good
research.
husband. So much as well.
So what she first discovered was Holly, which is an amazing German formula. They use very pure and simple ingredients. They don't add anything that doesn't need to be there, and it's just well, needless to say, we had our hopes up. It was a little hard to find at the time, but she managed to get a hold of a couple boxes, and once it arrived, we started giving it to our son. And I swear within about a day or two, he was like a brand new baby. All of his fussiness and constipation and gassiness and reflux, it was all just disappearing, and it was like a miracle. So we continued to feed that to him for months, and then was getting harder and harder to find. And we're like, oh, wait a minute, this has basically been a lifesaver, a miracle to us. We should probably see, or do our part to see if we can get a couple extra boxes and share it with fellow parents who are experiencing the same thing. And so that's exactly what Louise did. And the rest is pretty much history. I mean, there's no comparison. Different standards, amazing formulas.
Okay, so you're saying you came to the world of, organic European formula out of desperation with everything that happened to your son. And I love this picture. I have to show it again because you wanted us to make sure that we show the picture of your baby boy, your bouncing baby boy, once he started using the Holly formula. And there he is. He is a beautiful boy.
Oh, thank you.
So that's what brought you to start helping families get European formula. So with Mike, I'm curious, you are in Europe. You are the founder of a European formula. Why do you think that families are searching for European formula from the US? I mean, we are, the land of the brave and home of the free. So, why are we going across the pond to look for formula? What's going on?
Well, I think in general, every continent in the world has their own formulas. The big brands are out there. Everybody knows them, and everybody uses them for decades. However, you see a trend, especially in Europe, as we are known for the dairy quality, the Alps, the cows, the good milk, which is of course the base for the formula. And you see in the last couple of years that in Europe the trend is going towards organic with the formulas as well. So I think every parent here in Europe also shares their amazing experience with these brands in general, not only our brand. And I think nowadays with the internet, the social media, that people are like Cameron in this case, searching for something that could help in this case, and then they will find some amazing reviews in Europe about the formulas. And like Cameron just told us, why wouldn't you try that before you go to medicating your baby? That's like the last resort, right? So I think the internet really helps with this, and there's always some family member in Europe or when you go to holiday or whatever, to bring it along and try it. I mean, it's organic, it's pure, so there is no harm in trying it. And if it works, it's great. And I think Cameron right away shares their experience with the rest of the world and try to help out on his way. And I think by doing that, you get like an oil stain that is spreading out. And I think that's going on, not only in America, but you see that in Australia, even in China and other big countries. So, yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay, so but what I'm curious about, especially when it comes to Loulouka, because Loulouka is kind of the new kid on the block, but it is making waves in Europe. Like people are touting it as being the purest organic formula on the market. So with so many brands right now, I mean, the European organic formula brand is pretty saturated. Why did you start Loulouka?
Well, I have a daughter on my own now, Evie. She's 1.5 years old. And like any parent, before everything starts, you do some research, what kind of stroller do you want? What kind of car seat? What kind of, if you cannot breastfeed or you want to do it, after the breastfeeding part, you want to have a formula. So what will you choose? And even though I'm blessed, I'm in Europe, I have so many brands to choose from, and they're good, very good. However, we did saw a trend towards palm oil free products, because even though the products are good, palm oil is a weird ingredient in general. It's being used in food, non-food, and it's not very sustainable for the environment. Nobody really knows what it does, for your health. So we had the idea to remove that from the product itself, and we found a very good producer, in Switzerland, who is able to do that, and using coconut oil instead. Basically, that makes the product even more organic, more pure, and even better for the environment. So using that in combination with using lactose for the stage 1 version, we found basically there is still a niche in the market we could explore. And I think we did great, because we're now more than a year on the market, and it's kind of exploding here in Europe as well. More and more interest. We get questions all over the world, all over Europe, to become distributor. And of course, which is great to hear, the loving reviews for our product from moms and dads all over here. So yeah, I would say we made a good call to do that.
Awesome. Now, one of the things that I also wanted to ask you about is, you talk about superior standards and how everything is sourced organically, and how, the milk, the farms. What is it that Europe is doing so differently when it comes to organic farming? What's different? Like, why are we saying that it is better? We all have cows here. We all have grass here. What's different?
I think here, besides, in the Netherlands, for example, they're known for the dairy, the cows. We drink a lot of milk here in Europe. There is so much knowledge, gathered here in the last hundreds of years. So Europe is being known for their dairy products in general. So if you have great dairy, which is the base, there is also enough knowledge to make a very good infant formula. And in this case, organic. A lot of brands are from Germany, Austria, the Alp countries, which is of course more pure. And there is a slight difference when it starts with the base, the milk. For example, in Switzerland, in our case, there are only average 24 cows per farm. That means they have all the room, they can walk around. It's not a joke. Even our cows get free in the summer. For 3 months, they go back to the mountains. They can get back their energy, their strength. So the whole base process is really high. When it comes to, for example, the United States, they have average about 200 cows per farm. Of course, perhaps there could be more land, but that's already the start of the base, right? The fresh milk. And furthermore, it's here organic. The limit needs to be more than 95% of ingredients need to be organic in order to get the quality mark of being organic. So the standards are set really high. So there's almost no room to add something in the product which isn't natural or not organic. So that benchmark is set so high, and therefore the quality of the products are, very good, I would say, compared to the rest of the world.
And that's the biodynamic organic farming that you guys like to talk about.
Yes, we have here in Europe some quality marks. You have multiple. In our case, it's BioInspecta. That's like an agency in Switzerland who's checking up the entire production process from A to Z, from the raw milk to the end product. So there is no room for errors. There is no room for miscommunication in what is organic, what is not. So I think every consumer in Europe is quite comfortable buying an organic product because it's so strictly regulated. And the good thing is, just in a small nutshell, because it's almost impossible to explain, but our organic logo on each product could be formula, could be something else, like pasta or whatever. It shows basically a track and trace back to the factory, but also back to the, in this case, the farm. So it's basically a track and trace to ensure the quality. So it's quite transparent. If you're gonna check out the number underneath the logo, you can find a lot about the product, a lot about where it's coming from, and therefore, you know, that transparency, that also gives more trust, I would say, to the product, to the end product.
Got it. Now, one of the things that there's talk about the Demeter label. Now, this is, you know, in Germany, touted as something that's really important, and it shows that your product is verified, it's coveted, right? It's like a restaurant getting the Michelin star. So does Loulouka carry the Demeter label? And if not, why?
No, you see the Demeter label a lot in Germany. Germany is a big country, so they have this foundation who basically also checks the process from the beginning to the end. You know, how are the animals treated? What kind of products are being used? Is the end product really organic? Can we see that track and trace back towards the beginning? Basically, a lot of countries have their own agency. Switzerland, of course, is part of the Europe, but it's not. So it's they're using their own agency. It's called Bioinspecta. Basically, it's like also a quality mark. And going back to the quality part again, Switzerland is the country for the best milk, and you know, it stands for quality on its own. So yes, even though there are a lot of manufacturers in Germany as well, we chose the best, and you know, and that starts again with the milk, and the best milk is from Switzerland. So yeah, there you go.
Hey, you're outnumbered here. You got two Americans here. You can't be talking about Switzerland like that, right? You're literally between two Americans.
Well, I think we all agree, you know,
So we have, and I think this talks that somebody wanted to make them out. They're like, your cows get a summer break, which one of our viewers wanted you to expound a little bit on that. What do you mean when they say they get a summer break? What are we talking about?
Yeah, the first thing the first time I heard it, I was like, what? You're joking, right? So basically, if you go, not many people think about, you know, when you drink a glass of milk, it's, you know, you just buy it and you drink it, there you go. But when you start a process like this to start a brand and you know, to search for the best milk and therefore the best formula, then you suddenly get overwhelmed by the knowledge and the information. But normally when you have, of course, organic milk and non-organic milk, it all depends on how many freedom also, you know, do the cows get? You know, can they walk outside? What kind of food do they get? You know, is it just natural grass, or are they getting like other products to eat, like soy or corn or whatever? Well, in Switzerland, it's mostly natural grass, and you know what the cow gets, he or she produces. So you know, it's then the quality of the milk is better. But also, cows are, you know, being milked. It's quite exhausting for the cows. So you need to be sure that you're treating your cows properly. So the better you treat them, the better the quality of the milk is. So in Switzerland, they have you know, basically they thought, okay, what can we do about that? So between June and September, they released the cows back into the Alps, which is now, of course, great for them, and they basically can, you know, walk around, enjoy their free time for about 3 months before they go back to the farm and start giving milk again. So basically, they get like more than 3 months to get back to strength. So that's quite extraordinary, and that's not many countries do that. I would say that only happens in Switzerland, and they also make it like a big thing about it. You see it even in the news, you know, the cows getting released back to the Alps. So yeah, it's quite important, you know, also for us. Then we also know that the animals are treated right. I mean, that's also an important perspective, right? If you start a brand, you need to know everything, and well, this we know now as well. So I think that's a great idea. I think also in Germany they should do that, or other countries.
Great. Thank you so much for answering that. Now, what are the other Cameron, when you decided that you guys were going to start carrying European formulas, what specific things were you looking for? Because you have a wide range of formulas that you carry at Little Moo Organics. So what things were you looking for? What ingredients in European formula were you guys looking for that you would say make European formula more superior?
Well, yes, great question. So first and foremost, when it comes to all formulas and babies, there's no one size fits all. There's no one perfect formula, although if there was, Loulouka would just about be it. But with formulas, there's a whole different array of philosophies. Some people want formulas that have every little ingredient under the sun, sort of like a super powerful multivitamin, if you will. Whereas other people, including us, we were seeking out something that was pure and as simple as humanly possible, which is one of the great benefits about Holly, for example. They use very minimal ingredients and everything is just pure. And they carry that the meter certification, which is the highest organic certification on the planet. As far as I'm aware, it's one of the only formulas out there that does carry that certification, which is really hard to obtain and get. So that was important for us when we were first, scouting out formulas and looking for one that would be the best fit, just making sure that it was wholesome, pure, and organic. And then, of course, for, the benefit of our customers, we, like I said, there's no one perfect formula that fits all. And so we have a whole array of different assortments based on individual and unique needs of everyone's child.
Yeah, and just to kind of give people an idea of what you carry, there's just a quick picture, and that looks so familiar to us Seattleites out there. I wonder if anybody can guess where that is, but that is local here in Washington, not too far away from Redmond. And there's a picture of just some of the products that that you guys are carrying right now.
Correct. So we do have some wonderful products here, and we took that photo, I think, about a year or so ago. So some of the packaging has changed, and we have. But back to formulas real quick. With our son, he did wonderful on Holly, so we didn't have much of a need to really try anything else with him. Now, we do have a daughter. In fact, her birthday is tomorrow. She's turning 3.
Oh, happy birthday.
Congrats.
But in regards to Madeline, we discovered, when it was time to make that switch over to formula, that cow milk wasn't the best fit for her. Whenever she'd have any cow milk, seemed to give her an upset stomach, and she would have usually, really runny, unpleasant poops. And so we knew something wasn't right. So one of the amazing formulas that we sell is goat milk formula. And we actually have a few good ones, Nanny Care and Bambichin. Holly also has a goat milk formula. But some babies just do better with goat milk. The proteins more closely resemble that of breast milk, and it's just super gentle, super easy to digest. Some kiddos have a tendency to get a little constipated with goat milk, but in general, it's tolerated very, very well. And Madeline just loves the taste of Nanny Care, in addition to the fact it just does better with her stomach. She can have Nanny Care, could have Nanny Care all day long and no trouble whatsoever. If we gave her a cow's milk formula, then we'd be in trouble. She'd be in trouble, and wouldn't be pretty. So yeah, definitely. In terms of formula, we have a whole different assortment. HIP is a big brand. HIP is known for, it's one of those formulas where it does have a lot of ingredients. Anything that any parent could possibly want, it's probably going to be in HIP. And then Loulouka is sort of a fine balance between the two. It has all the best of the best without a bunch of extra fluff, which I really respect. So I could recommend Loulouka all day long. It's just an amazing balance between, the things that you actually need versus, the bare bones minimum. And then, of course, with some formulas, there is a price point issue. Some parents are seeking formulas that are considered the better bang for the buck. And then there's the more premium formulas, which, slightly more expensive. And so, everyone has unique needs. And we just wanted to make sure that we had formulas that, were suited towards each individual need.
And then, Mike, I know you was mentioning that Loulouka is getting ready to change its labeling to put DHA in, which we have in American formulas right now. So you're only now adding this. So why are you saying that? What ingredients are you saying that are in European formula that make it more superior?
Well, basically,
Specifically.
In Europe, I think everywhere they're doing nonstop research. And the last couple of years, Europe did a lot of research about infant formulas, organic and conventional. And even though some conventional formulas already have DHA here in it for years, it wasn't mandatory. But in the last couple of years, they did a lot of studies. Every country did some on their own, and then they combined all knowledge. And it did show that even formulas, organic and non-organic, can be even better. So they chose to balance the ratio between vitamins, minerals, base milk, DHA in this case, and set a new benchmark. And all manufacturers in the last 1.5 years had to work quite hard to change their manufacturing, change the labeling. And they basically gave the limit that in 2020, this year, you need to switch your brand towards at least DHA and a new slightly balance in general in the ingredients in the formula. So yes, we're also going to release later this year a new formula, also a new packing. We had the bag and box. We're now going to switch towards the tin, which is more easy to use here, and people like it, especially in Europe. But yeah, DHA is one of the ingredients that is now mandatory in every formula brand in Europe. So basically, it's not only DHA, but people always talk about that's the biggest change, the fish oil component in a formula. It shows it's better for your development in general, the brain development. So they decided to add it, and I would say, yeah, it's a good case that they're always constant checking if a formula can be better and why it is better. In our case, our new formula is going to be. It's interesting what they found out. So our new balance in our formula, they're even watching the possibility with this new ratio that the chance later on in life, the chance on obesity is less. So it's not only for the first couple of years. They really go into depth in those studies what could help out later on in life. So yeah, I'm quite proud of releasing the new formulation later on this year.
Okay. So I'm not going to have you bash American formulas. So let's see if I can phrase this right. What ingredients would you say are not in European formulas that families should be concerned about, or things that they may see on other formulas that they're like, that, should be a red flag, or that you think shouldn't, or, don't belong in formula?
Well, first of all, I love America. I've been there many times. Last year I was also there, so I love it. But I think also here in Europe we have a lot of formulas, conventional, which I wouldn't choose on a personal level as a father myself. But a couple of years ago, when I was not known with this information, not known with the formulas, probably I would just pick a formula that we would get or recommended in a hospital, which is most of the time a non-organic brand. That's one of the big companies. We also here have a lot of Matt Johnson, Nestle, and other brands. However, when you come to that, when the time comes, you need to investigate what do you want for your own baby. Then you're going to check out the ingredients. And when it comes to organic, it already says it. It's more back to nature, and that's what it's all about, right? I mean, if you're breastfeeding, it's also nature. So if you are not able to breastfeed, or you want to supplement, or whatever you want to do, it's important that the formula is also mimicking the breast milk, and that's it needs to be as pure as possible. So what you don't want in there is, of course, added materials, and by added materials I mean like sugars, corn syrup, not natural sweeteners like corn syrup, or I don't know, whatever they use. But here we also see a lot of stuff that we don't want in it. So I think that is the most important thing. You don't want to have ingredients in there that you also wouldn't get from getting breastfed. So all those added supplements are basically cheap, and I know why it's been done. It gives the baby energy, it will thrive them, but not in a good way. So if you do want something that thrives them, it should be a natural sugar, for example, lactose, and not corn syrup or whatsoever. And that's also commonly used there, I would say, what I see online.
Okay. So Loulouka uses lactose, correct?
Yeah, stage 1. We have stages here in Europe. So yeah,
Can we pause for a second? And I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that's something that doesn't exist here. We have formula, and it's the same one you use from newborn all the way in through until 12 months of age. Why does European formula come in stages? What's that all about?
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, first of all, it's quite easy for parents. Stage 1, 2, 3, even some brands go up to 5, 6. Basically, it shows what you need to start with first. Well, basically, this is stage 1 if you want to use an infant formula, a bottle formula.
Okay.
So stage 1 is normally from birth up to 6 months. Stage 2 is 6 months and up. Stage 3, our brand is 10 months and up, but some brands have 12 months and up. That depends on the brands. So it's easy for a parent what to know and when to give it. And why that is, we think in every stage of life you need something else. So the first 6 months a baby primarily gets milk, right? So that contents of vitamins, minerals, and all substances the baby needs, to thrive, to be healthy, that's in stage 1. After 6 months, normally a little one starts eating some solids, some puree, some sandwiches, some fruit. So because of the solids, they get also some different vitamins on a different way, and the variety of the diet is simply changing. So therefore, also the base of the milk needs to be different. So stage 2 goes a little bit, less on those vitamins and minerals, because you're given the solids. So therefore, the milk becomes like more supportive than like being the only thing they get. And that continues up to stage 3, and after a year they get like hopefully they're eating along with you. You don't have to cook like 2 dinners. So therefore there is a change in stages. It's simply what do you need in that part of your life, and that also applies to little babies.
Got it. So, and now let's talk about the FDA, because we know here European formulas are not FDA approved. And there's been a lot of chatter and a lot of providers who, would say to their patients, hey, you're bringing in something from Europe. The FDA has not had a chance to take a look at this product. It is not FDA approved. So I want to know, why aren't you seeking FDA approval? Why aren't we just making this easier for everybody, for them to be able to get European formula? What's going on?
That's a good question. Yeah, first of all, we're focusing on Europe. Europe is also quite big for us, and organic in general is still a niche. It's growing 10-12% a year, but we need to make people aware that organic is good, and it can even be better than conventional. So we're focusing primarily on Europe, of course, but like I said, it's a European product, so we can sell it everywhere here. It has the quality mark of the European Union, and of course for the FDA in the United States, they have of course different benchmarks and different needs they want to see in a formula, for example. So if a company, not specifically my company, but in general, would go to a different continent with new rules, new regulation, that's quite a struggle. It's not your own territory. You have to do a lot of research. You have to comply with a lot of investigations. So that can take years, maybe 10 years. I have no idea. But besides the timeline, it's also quite expensive if you want to seek expansion abroad, wherever you go. So for now, we're focusing on Europe. We're building here. We're making the mothers happy, I would say here. But yeah, that's a different ball game. And I think there is a long way to go if a brand would do that. So you rarely see that, I think, with infant formulas. That going from Europe to the United States, it's quite hard. It's very hard. So maybe in the far future, but for now, Europe only.
Okay. And Cameron, for you, we've got a question from Raja Mawad, and he says, I guess, have there been any supply chain issues, or everything's all good? I'm assuming that's what that question was supposed to be. So that's something that I also wanted to talk to you about, because okay, we've got the FDA on one side where we're saying, okay, not FDA approved. When families are coming to Little Moo Organics, how do we reassure them about the supply chain? How is that working? How does a mom like me, if I'm ordering formula, how do I know that I'm good, I'm okay? Because that is probably, something that families should be concerned about.
Yes, that's a great question, and thank you for that question, Raja. So a couple of things. In terms of the supply chain, there's a couple of different things going on. I'm not sure if that question pertains more relating to what's been going on with coronavirus and closed borders and whatnot. In that regards, there were definitely plenty of delays and supply chain issues, especially with Germany and certain countries, shutting down their borders and the lack of flights and availability. From a company standpoint, we tried to stock up early on, foreseeing, different possibilities playing out. But there were definitely some issues, we did run out of some stock. Thankfully, now things are back to normal. However, in general terms, logistically speaking, sometimes it does take a little work, to keep these products in stock, but we utilize multiple methods and do everything we can to make sure that we can take care of our customers.
Okay, great. And now let's talk about recalls, because again, I want to make sure we're covering all our bases. This, again, for my audience, this is not me telling you to go and buy formula, to go and buy European formula, or an ad for Loulouka and or for Little Moo Organics. But the reality is, a lot of American formulas are looking into European brands of formula. And so this is informational. This is us trying to get more information to you so that you know the questions you need to be asking if you're going to go this route. Because regardless of what providers are saying, the research is showing and the information is showing you guys are looking for this formula and you're getting it anyway. So how do families know? How do you inform parents if there is a recall? And that was for you.
I'm sorry, was that for Mike or for me?
For you, sorry, for Cameron.
Okay, I got it. So great question, Rue. So thankfully, we have, I think we've been in business for a little over 7 years now, or just, let's just put it out there. Recalls, there's only been maybe a couple of instances, but we do monitor different manufacturers' websites, Holly, Loulouka, Nanny Care, as well as a few others, and we do try our best to stay on top of any possible recalls. If we are alerted to such, then we will email all of our customers who do purchase that particular formula. Of course, we'll check our batch codes and see, first of all, if we've had an affected product, and if we have, then of course we alert everyone. If it was something that was life-threatening or very serious, which I don't think has ever happened, but I'd be personally calling up every one of my customers to make sure that they're aware that something's going on. So we would take that very seriously, but thankfully it's been a very, very rare occurrence as far as any sort of recalls.
Okay. And for you, Mike, has Loulouka ever had a recall?
No, we hadn't so far, but because that's also because of the quality process. Like I said, after every production, that's with the formula in general, I would say. After production, it stays about 4 weeks in quarantine. They will test it, check the balances, if it meets the bandwidth of the products that it needs to met in Europe. So, for example, the iron levels, the vitamin A, B, etc. Then when it's tested, there will be a third party who's testing it also. And if it's all okay, then they release a batch. And with recalls in general, they mark the batch codes underneath a product. So when, for example, we ship a batch to a supermarket chain in Germany or the UK, we have to write down in a special system what batch code to what country, to what customer, a wholesaler in Europe it went. And if there was an issue with that particular batch, it's easy to notify where it went to. So the chain of sales is quite strict here as well, especially in the organic products. So it's easy to locate a product. So in that case, if it would ever happen, we can act fast and retrieve it. But the chance of that happening is so unlikely with all the quality checks after a production. So yeah, but if it would happen, it's easy to recall.
Okay. And for you families that are ordering European formula, the Rapid Alert System for Food and Feed Consumer Portal is where you can go to see if anything has been recalled in Europe. So if you are one of the families that is turning to European formula, please make sure you have that saved in your phone so that you can always quickly go and check if there are any issues. That is a place that you'd be able to know. You've got companies like Little Moo Organics who are telling you that if we hear something, we are going to get a hold of you. You want to make sure that whoever you're ordering from, that is something that they can assure you. So that if there is a problem, you know how to get a hold of them. But there's always Loulouka, who's never gotten a recall, so you can always just go there and get your formula from them, right, Mike?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me here to tell a little bit about the European organic standards. That's always interesting, and to see that hopefully other countries, as well as the United States, are also trying to get it to the next level. So if they need some information or some knowledge or some guidance, they can always come to Europe and see how it really works.
Yeah, and if they're looking for you, just in case you guys are wondering, please make sure you follow at Loulouka Baby if you are interested in Loulouka or their products. Mike, one of the things that I want to make sure that we're not quite done yet, but this is a great place to plug this in, because you're not just going to be focusing on formula. Coming up this summer, you've got some pretty neat stuff coming up. So can you tell us a little bit, can I get like early release deets on what's coming up on the Loulouka supply chain?
Yeah, I think here in the Netherlands and Europe, they will be happy with us, because we are also going to release some healthy snacks like fruit and veggie pouches, but also some organic yogurt and oat pouches, which is great for breakfast or a healthy snack. So somewhere during the summer, I think July, we will also release here in Europe 6 flavors. So the moms and especially the babies will be thrilled with the tasty snacks we were releasing. So yeah, we're constant checking out the market and where there are opportunities. So hopefully in a year or two, when we ever meet again, you will see that our brand will have a big portfolio with a lot of snacks, healthy snacks, and yeah, we do what we can to make life better here for the little ones.
Well, I mean, with your cows that get a vacation, I better get the first box of those snacks, because I want to see what they're all about. To all my viewers, I can't be giving out formula, but I can give out healthy baby snacks. So please keep an eye on this, because Mike, I'm going to be reaching out to you come summer. I want a box of those healthy snacks for our viewers.
Sure, and you're welcome to visit us in the Alps, right? And yeah, come on over and you can taste them.
Hey, I've got an invitation over to Switzerland. I'm coming. Hey, your cows take a vacation. I mean, seriously. What is it? Who doesn't want to go to Switzerland?
I'm jealous as well on the cows, right? 3 months, that's great.
All right. Cameron, and if you guys are looking for Cameron, he is at Little Moo Formula. Cameron, you also carry stuff other than formula. So tell us about some of the other products that parents can get at Little Moo Formula that are also organic.
Yes, great question. So we do have many amazing products for parents who are not in need of formula whatsoever. We have some amazing porridges, cereals, soaps, snacks. So we have some really good biscuits made by Hip, which have proven to be extremely popular. And then Holly, they have Happy Sticks. Great photo. This is just a small sampling of many wonderful non-formula products that we carry, and it's always changing. So definitely, please take a look at our website. If you see something, or if you see something that's out of stock, by all means, sign up for an alert so you can be notified when that's back in stock, or feel free to reach out to myself or Louise, and we're happy to keep you informed. If you have any special requests as well, we're here to help. So let us know, whatever we can do.
Awesome. And I wanted to make sure that I put this. Lynn Trowan want to say love Little Moo. So you've got a shout out. One of your customers is watching, and I wanted to make sure that we put that up on the screen.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. We appreciate your support. Thank you.
All right. So anything else that you want to tell us, Cameron, about Little Moo? Anything that you want to put out there to the people who are watching? I know this came from, you being a dad. This is what brought this company for you guys. Congratulations on your success. You are local. Lynn, your wife, is the brain. So technically, this is still me supporting all my girl bosses out there.
Yeah.
So anything you want to, say before we get ready to sign off?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us. This has been such a treat. Obviously, like you mentioned, there's no comparison to breast milk, and we're not here to sell formula, but we understand there is, occasionally a need for numerous reasons, or formula is a necessity. And, we just want to make sure that we have the best products available so that parents can make choices. But yeah, thanks again for having us. It's been a treat. And
you are so welcome. It was my pleasure. And just so that viewers know how I even found out about you. In my private practice, I've had a lot of families who've asked me about organic formula. And I've had families that have tried Infamil, Similac, had issues with them. And recently I had a family that called me and she was like, Ruth, I need you to know there's a company called Little Moo. I was able to get this formula, and she just went on and on and on. And this was really for them from a point of desperation because they had tried everything and it wasn't working for them. And so again, this is not me telling you to go and buy European formula. This is not me telling you to go and buy formula at all. This is just about letting you guys know what's happening out there, what my patients are telling me, and making sure that if you do go anywhere, that you are making sure you do your checks and balances so that you don't end up in any trouble. We want to make sure that whatever route we choose to feed our babies, it is the safest possible. And you are looking for safe means, not eBay, not Alibaba Express. You guys want to be really, really careful because there's a lot of fraudulent activity that happens online. And not everybody who says they're doing something are doing exactly what they say they're doing. So this is what this is about. And Mike, is there anything that you want to say before we get ready to sign off? What do you want people to know about Loulouka?
Well, first of all, if someone who's watching ever comes to Europe, please visit us. You're welcome, and you're welcome to taste one of our products. And I really do hope that also for you guys over there, that perhaps some companies over there are setting the new benchmark and will make sure that the products are better accessible to all of you, because I think all of this is about awareness. Like I said, I'm in Europe, great products over here, but even here it can be better. Even here, a lot of people still go for conventional because they're so used to getting that from day one in a hospital or a clinic, whatever. So it's about awareness, and with all the transparency nowadays and the internet and broadcasts like yours right now, that will help to give a mom or a dad the proper guidance they need to make a good choice. So just keep your eyes open, I would say, and always look for the best wherever you are. Yeah.
Awesome. I want to make sure that our viewers do know that one of the questions that I got privately, a DM that I got is, hey, Ru, a lot of these formulas don't come with English instructions, and sometimes they're super complicated. Loulouka, Mike, you said is written in Dutch and in English?
Yeah, that's correct. But of course, we're available here in Europe. So you can always bring it along when you're, visit Europe on a trip. But yeah, here we chose for Dutch because I'm in the Netherlands, and in English because that's always convenient. But again, we're only available in the US, in Europe, in the supermarkets and the pharmacies.
And so if you were looking to get Loulouka, you would need to reach out to someone like Cameron, who would be able to help you personally import it into the country for yourself. You cannot directly go to Loulouka and get formula because they cannot bring it. They can't sell it to you. But you can reach out to Little Moo Organics, and they can talk to you about safe ways that you can secure European formula if that is something that you were looking for. All right, guys, so we are getting ready to sign off. Thank you so much to everybody who participated in today's broadcast. We had an awesome chat going on. Louise with Little Moo Organics was on there as well, and she was answering questions. Louise, thank you so much. We didn't announce what our giveaway was going to be, but it is a $100 gift certificate to Little Moo Organics. Now, again, like I told you, I'm not giving away formula on this broadcast, but I am giving away a $100 gift certificate thanks to Little Moo Organics. And with that gift certificate, you can go ahead and you can purchase whatever you like. So to my producer, Brittany, do we have a winner for the giveaway? All right, and the winner is Mundia Musialike. Congratulations. Go ahead and send us an email at hello@theperfectpush.com, and we will make sure that we get that gift certificate to you. Congratulations. Thank you so much for watching today's broadcast. Cameron, I cannot thank you enough for coming on this broadcast. Mike, it is super early. I see the sun is coming out behind you. Getting up super early and joining me, I really appreciate it. I feel like I've learned a lot today. I hope that my audience has learned a lot. So, gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ru. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, guys.
All right.